Hi, my name's Barney, and I'm from the University of Melbourne. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the student experience for your studies after you leave high school. Obviously, moving to a tertiary education provider is very different to high school, and of course, along with that comes a very different student experience. So let's have a look at some things that you might expect to see in that environment. So like we said, what experiences should you be expecting? We've got clubs, societies, and sporting teams listed there. So these are great ways to get involved with your new institutions, to make friends, and to really kind of get an understanding of what an institution's all about. The middle option there, you've got the option to travel overseas while studying. So many institutions will give you many options about going overseas, studying while you're traveling. It's a great way to see the world as well as not actually adding much time or any time at all to your studies. And of course, it's a great opportunity to meet new people and try new things. After all, this is what that stage of your life is all about, getting out of your comfort zone and into a new environment. Now, another part of the student experience might be that you're actually having to transition from high school to an institution or a university or a TAFE or a college. Part of that might be moving away from home. So if you're coming from a smaller town or you need to move to a big city to go to the institution that you would like to go to, institutions can help you with that moving. And we might have a look at some of the things that you're having to consider. This here is a few images from one of our videos, which you can find over at the TIS Facebook page. It looks at Jack, who's a student who's moved from a small town in South Australia to study at Melbourne. And it's really about his transition and how he went about making that decision. So head over to the TIS Facebook page if you want to have a look at that one. So obviously moving towns, you will need somewhere to live. So accommodation options is going to be something that you have to start thinking about. There's a few different options we've listed here. We've got homestay. So if you're lucky enough that you've got family friends or relatives that live in the town or city that you're moving to, it's obviously a great option to move in with them. And it's probably a cheaper option and a much nicer option to help you with that transition. If you don't have that option though, there's a few other options. So you might look at off-campus living or what's kind of known as private student living accommodation. So there's a lot of providers, a lot of them use high-rise towers in cities, or there might be some lower set buildings as well, a little bit out of the cities. So these are student living environments, but they're not attached to a campus. So you probably still have to travel to get to your institution, but it's a real student-friendly environment. The next step is obviously on-campus accommodation. So some institutions have residential colleges or halls of residence. So this is where you can live on campus or 5 minutes, 10 minutes walk from campus, which makes it very easy to get to your classes every morning. And that might be an option that your institution can offer you. So make sure you have a look at that. And of course, outside of all of those things, we've got a share house. So if you've got a couple of friends that are moving from your town to the city to start studying, it might be easier for you to just go and find a rental property with them and share that house and share that experience of moving to this new town already. So a few different options there to consider for your accommodation. As well as living elsewhere, it probably means you're starting to live more independently. So you're going to have to start thinking about how you're going to manage work and life and study. How are you going to find that balance between those three crucial elements? For some of you, there might be some new responsibilities, such as doing the shopping for the first time, having to cook more often, or maybe even having to cook for the first time. Or you might have to start paying bills and being responsible for bills. So again, some new responsibilities at this stage of your life. And how are you going to make this work? How are you going to afford student life? There's a lot of different ways you can do it. And there's another video on fees and costs you might like to check out for some more information. But things like casual work, part-time work, a lot of students are doing one of those while they study. And of course, there's opportunities through Centrelink, as well as some of the institutions for some financial assistance to help you afford your student life. So again, some more research for you to have a look at to make sure that you're set up so that you can concentrate on your studies and not have to worry so much about the financial side. I think overall, this great opportunity that you've got at the end of high school to move into further study, it's going to be out of your comfort zone. It's a really exciting time. It's a challenging time, but like we said, a really exciting time. The video that you might watch at the TIS Facebook page, Jack talks a little bit about homesickness. He did feel homesick at some stages, but he also said he was so busy in those first few weeks, joining clubs and societies, meeting new people, that he quickly got settled in his new city. So that's something that you might like to consider if you have to move away. We spoke about new responsibilities, and you might be able to begin practicing these now. Maybe you've already got a casual job, or maybe there's other responsibilities that you can take on to help you understand what that balance is like and how you can do that moving forward. And we don't like to think of it, but of course, there's always the financial side. So how are you going to make this student life work? Is it through casual and part-time work? Are you eligible for Centrelink payments, or is there some other type of financial aid that you can have a look at and help you make this work? So I hope that's given you an insight into the student experience, and all the best with your next stages of research.